Welcome to another episode of Until It's Done, a devoted podcast. I'm your host, Dana Lynn Kay, and I'm, pardon my language, but bringing the shit talk to you today with Mom and Maria. So you guys, my mom trains with Maria at her house, and I get to pop over every now and then. And when I do, do you keep working out or do we just start to shit talk?
I work out, you two talk.
Yeah, Maria and I forget Mom's there. We're shit talking, we're laughing, 15. We're talking. Yeah, and then we're like, oh shit, Mick, yeah, pick up the.
I'm like, okay, Maria, now what?
Yeah, hello. And then, yeah, I'm a bit of a distraction, but we were like, let's bring some of this conversation to the podcast.
Oh no, that we cannot bring that conversation.
Oh no, okay, we're gonna bring another version.
We'll have no friends.
Oh no, oh God, please! I bet you people would actually like to be friends with us after here. They'll be like, that's the conversation you want to listen to when you're taking your walk.
We have spirited conversations.
Suddenly you have 18,000 steps because you've been enjoying the conversation and the walk. You're like, great, can we do this again tomorrow?
Exactly.
Can I hear these maniacs talk for another?
Do you know, Maria only trains me when she has a chunk of time afterwards.
Oh,
because
I'm at Mayo.
we do not do 1 hour sessions.
You're like, how long will you be training? How long will we be shit talking for? Like, we have to
I'm
work
there
it in.
sometimes on average 2 hours.
Yeah.
Sometimes 3.
Yeah.
Oh, and then my mom, people will be like, wow, how long do you train for? And she's like, I do like a 3-hour workout with my trainer. It's like,
well, technically, we do the training the whole time.
oh my God.
I have a lot of
she
rest.
takes 15-minute rest. You're like, we're going to do a set. We're going to rest for 20.
We do 2, we talk. No, we do 2, we talk.
Oh my God.
I have long recovery periods.
And then sometimes I
We
call.
laugh, we talk.
Yeah, I'll call her and I'll be like, Mom, what do you do? She's like, Maria just got here. We're going to train. 2 hours later, I'm like, Mom, she's like, I'm still training with Maria. I'm like, what are you training for?
Life.
Like, what's going on over there?
Have a blast. We just can't help it.
Yeah.
We've talked about everything.
We talk about everything under the stars. You name it, we talk about
can
it.
never discuss that on here.
Yeah. All right. Well, feel free.
We're both divorced.
What had happened was.
We realize we have a lot in common.
Oh my God. Well, hello. I'm divorced too. So
You would probably have a lot in
and
common.
I'd say like a large majority of the people listening are probably gonna be like, hey, me too. Like
they could come to our workout session.
Yeah. Yeah.
A boot camp of sorts.
A boot camp. Yeah. A mental boot camp. Well, no, it's actually like a therapy. It's like you're done and then you're like, oh, that felt great.
You know, it's funny because I get as much out of it than she does. I go home in my car. I was like, that was so good.
So then you send mom the bill and then she sends you her bill. You're like just finishing your invoice.
That's why I never pay her. It's a wash.
It's a wash. It's like, oh my, unbelievable. Oh, that's so funny.
We love it. I honestly,
Maria always goes away with, okay, I'm single, I'm good.
And I feel better now.
I feel better now.
Yeah.
It confirmed how I was feeling all week.
It was like she just told me yesterday. I told her a story about my sister who felt like she needed love and affection, so she got a dog, and she's not a dog.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the dog only lasted 23 days.
No, literally only lasted. It actually died after 23 days.
We're very sorry to be laughing about it.
Yes.
but the
Rest
dog,
in peace,
yeah.
Fluffy, or
whatever his name was.
So,
and I'm a dog lover, by the way, so no one come at me. Don't be triggered.
Don't be triggered.
no, she was actually happy when she had the dog, but then when the dog passed
sick.
away,
Yeah.
she was like, you know what, maybe that was kind of good for me because I really
didn't want the
not
dog.
want the dog.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of
Like she
responsibility.
didn't know
You
she didn't want the
realize
dog
it.
till it died.
Right.
Then
A lot
she-
of us don't know that we want to be married until we're married. And then we're like, oh, shit, I didn't want this.
Looked good on paper.
You
right?
look-
I didn't think this through.
Yeah, exactly.
No, she realized that it had taken over her life. She said that her little ranch was
Yes.
covered, all the furniture was covered with blankets and
Yeah.
dog toys and beds were everywhere. And she stopped visiting her grandkids and going out to dinner. So so after the dog died, she realized like, oh my God, I had changed my whole life
For the dog.
Yeah.
this dog to make me happy. And actually it was a burden.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just happened to start to tell Maria. Maria's like, okay. She's like, I'm not getting a dog. She started thinking maybe she would get a dog.
Thinking about getting a dog, and then
my
here
God.
she comes up like,
She goes, thank you very much.
That's so funny.
I'm just gonna get that new robotic dog that's on the internet now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get.
Oh, my mom, that was the thing. Before I got Jagger, which I'm thrilled because my lifestyle is like good for a
Yes.
dog. But before I got Jagger, it was like every time I want to get a dog, she's like, get one that doesn't pee. And I was like,
Everybody says
How does that work?
no, you especially did because all of our rugs were destroyed by
yeah,
Shih Tzus.
yeah.
I mean, our house, it was like, it was horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, he has never
Which is
never
great.
peed in my
Jagger's is
house.
amazing.
Jagger will hold it for 30 hours if he has to.
If we could get a dog like Jagger, see, that's what
he's
makes us want
a
dogs.
superstar.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the problem. Every dog is not like Jagger.
Right.
No.
We want a Jagger, and I don't think I'm going to get a Jagger.
Jagger
so
does
I'm like,
not. He is so trained. He will hold it. We'll finally get home. I'll feel so badly, and he will go out and take a 10-minute pee, but he was holding it. He was
such a
not
good
leaving
pup.
it anywhere. He wasn't hiding it. He's like, even if he has to throw up, you can tell he is trying to get to the back door, and I'll be like, I didn't even hear you, but like, he's not telling me, but
Right.
no, he like knows like that's.
He's a good
bodily
dog.
functions go
Yeah,
outside. Like we
yeah.
don't find anything anywhere from
That's
Jagger.
so good. Well, yeah, that
Praise.
deterred me. That story was all I needed. I was
No,
like,
yeah.
no dog here. All right,
Yeah.
So, Dana, what are we
fish.
discussing?
So
today?
we're discussing. Well, first of all, I mean, obviously, you said both of you are divorced. So,
Yeah.
Mom, you had 2 kids with my dad, who you're divorced from, and Maria, you had how many kids?
I've got 4.
4.
Yeah.
And both of you have always worked.
Yes.
Okay. So I was just driving here, and so I
No, admit it. You weren't driving here. You drove
No,
to the
so
office.
that's what I'm gonna say. So Kelly gets to my house early. We're trying to launch this new website. She's like, I'm showing up after I drive the kids to school at 6 in the morning. Like we're up since
Right.
like the hustle. Drop them off, get home. Kelly's already I'm walking the dog. She's already at the door. She wants to work on the new website so we can launch it later today. It's been closed down for 24 hours, which is painful.
Right.
And so. So then I get home and Jules is texting me. She's like, financials for devotion. Can we talk? I'm like, we'll talk on the drive. So I'm finishing with Kelly and then I got to go for the podcast. So I'm on my drive and I'm on with Jules and all of a sudden I'm like, what the hell? Where am I? I'm like, oh my God, I'm driving to the office.
I do this all the time.
The podcast
Wait, the
is
opposite
in Boca. I'm driving to Pompano. I'm like, oh my God.
She's heading south when it's supposed to be north.
I'm like, oh, give me a break. So then it then I put it in navigation because I'm like, I don't even know where I am right now. Like
Right,
now I'm
yeah.
heading to Pompano. Like how am I even going to reroute?
Yeah.
I'm feeling bad because now you guys are waiting and I'm like, I'm an idiot. I was supposed to
don't
be
feel
here on
bad.
time.
We always have plenty of
Yeah.
Don't you ever worry about us.
And the thing,
We're good.
No, you guys. I thank God you knew each other. It wasn't like you're too awkward. Like, hi.
Relate.
But I'm driving, and I tell Jules, I gotta go. I don't know where I am. Like, I'm sorry I had to cut this, but we'll figure it out later. And I'm thinking in my head, like, and then I get a call from Bryce's neurologist. We have a follow up on her MRI results on Friday. A few weeks ago, I got the MRI. They gave me the disc. The doctor says, we're going to review the results on Friday. Can you drive us the disc 40 minutes away? I'm like, what? What the hell? I'm like, you couldn't have told me this
put it in
weeks
an
ago.
Uber.
Oh, you can?
Yes.
Yeah, you can do
Yes.
stuff by Uber. I send packages all
Oh, I'm about to Uber this
Yeah,
disc.
I Uber it
Uber
out.
the disc.
Okay, all right, we gotta do that. I was like, so I'm like, I hang up
Driving
and
a
I'm like,
disc.
are you kidding me? Now you want me to drive this to like Sunrise or whatever to drop a disc? We're
Right.
doing this on Friday. You can tell me. So I'm like, I get off and I'm like driving here. And I'm like, life is such a freaking rat race. Like, and I say it all the time. It's like where it's like as soon as I think like, okay, now I'm doing this, it's like I get another call that I got to
Right.
do this and I'm veering and
It's
I'm doing
never
different.
ending.
And like my to-do list every day, I like wake up once I drop the kids, I get home, I brew up like my 3rd cup of coffee, I think. And then I'm making my to-do list. And then as I'm making the to-do list, more crap is piling on and I'm getting more stuff. And I'm like, now this has got to be.
But then that's everybody.
So that's what I'm
Yes.
saying.
Yeah,
and I wanted to
everybody.
talk to you guys about it just because it's like a
Yes.
topic that we can start off about because this is also
100%.
how fitting in fitness. It's like,
Right.
that's another
This is
thing.
how
Like
it gets-
add that to
this
your
is
pile
how it
every
gets
day.
lost in translation because of so much on the list.
Oh, and everybody is where I'm too busy. I got this. And
Right.
like we all do. It's like a rat race. Like every day I'm just like racing to finish the day to lay down in my bed and be like, oh my God, I just love this feeling.
I know.
Just to wake up in a few
and start
hours.
the crazy all over again.
Every
From as soon as your eyes open, it's like crazy town.
Crazy town.
It's
Yeah. And then when you're raising kids, which you both have done, it's like now you've also got other people to
be responsible for, and you're looking in the mirror like, I'm just trying to be responsible for me.
Yes.
I don't think I failed today.
And I think that's where a lot of the whole thing about they're like, well, I became a mom, or like the excuse of where a lot of people lose themselves. They're like, well, because I'm a mom, or I got married, had kids, and then I was so fit in my 20s, and then I got married, and it's like that you hear that's very common, right?
Yes, it's very constant. It's a constant theme amongst most women, yes.
Because most women don't know where to fit it in. And not everybody is an entrepreneur, makes their own hours. Some moms have to drop their kids and they're working 9 to 4, picking up the kids, making dinner,
they're not
doing
home
sports.
Until 6:30, dinner, 8:30.
And you're exhausted by the end of the day.
So then you start saying, well, when am I going to even work out?
Right.
I almost can't even financially afford to work out because I can't take a day off of work to fit a day of working out in. Some people can't even do.
And by the end of the day, some people are so physically and mentally just exhausted.
Right.
Like I know for me, by the end of the day, my legs are always just tired, and I'm like, oh, what I'm gonna now do some cardio, or I'm gonna now start to really pour that into a workout. I'm like, I don't really have a lot left in me.
It's sad. And I think about this often. So it's funny that we're talking about this because that's kind of been on my mind this week. And I kind of made a post in relation to this. You know how we're always saying we're so busy and we have all of these things on our plate. But honestly, at the end of the day, if we're not healthy enough, none of it gets done.
Yep.
And if you die, you're going to be replaced.
Yeah.
It's quick. You die, people cry today, maybe the next day. And then guess what? Life completely
everybody has to keep moving. It's not like they can just sit and not
the
keep
train
going.
the train is moved on. They chuck your casket off the train door and onto the next station.
Yeah. No, but it's the truth because life keeps moving. I mean, that's a sad, and people will still mourn you and you're whatever, but it's like you can't mourn forever and then you ruin your life.
You almost don't even have time to mourn.
Right. No, I mean, a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't. But it's also hard when you don't feel good to go through life. Like if you're feeling crappy as a mom or as a person where you're holding extra weight, because that's exhausting.
Exactly.
Like the times in my life where I've been a lot heavier and I'm carrying more weight on my body, I'm like, it actually makes my day even more exhausting.
It's more exhausting
because you're like,
you're lugging extra poundage and you feel miserable. You also don't have that confidence that you look good. So that plays on your mental as well. It's just an exhausting just day altogether.
Yeah.
Just creates like a string of just melee.
Right. And so, when on this podcast and in part of like Devotion brand, we're always just trying to say like, you've got to change your lifestyle, what you do. And all the time I'm always thinking, and Mom, I know you do this too. I mean, we always try to do things where it forces us to walk more. It's like the little things that we always say, like, you hear people say like, oh, park farther from the door at Costco, or do your own shop, do your own this or that. It's like those little things where it sounds so like, I've heard it before, but it's like, I know that when I go through my day, I'll say, geez, how did I end up with so many steps? I didn't even do anything today. I've been working so hard. But then I'm like, oh, I did run to the mall and I did park kind of far to do that return. And then I did, do my own this and that or my housework. I ran up and down the stairs 50 times to go collect everyone's laundry, and I was stripping beds. And oh my God, I ended up with, I'm pulling in the garbage cans. I'm walking to the mailbox. I'm doing all the things. And in today's society, everything is like it comes to us so easily.
That's another problem, right? Like, I was talking to people about DoorDash.
Yep.
How we're now too lazy to just go get our own food. That is, and I know that COVID kind of fostered.
Oh,
that
COVID!
before.
Oh my God! All the Zooms and everything's you're like sitting.
Right.
Yeah.
So we've now that's become our new norm, and people don't want to go back to actually needing to just get up and go get it. I mean, it is a little pathetic when you think about it that we will not go get our own food.
No.
No, it's really pathetic.
Hey, talking about moving, I was just talking to David, your brother, and in his, I guess, nervousness but he's always been like this.
Yeah.
He said every time he talks on the phone, whether it's at home or at work, he's walking.
Right.
Yes, that's how Greg gets so many steps.
Okay,
He paces and paces on every phone call.
Okay, so I heard him say that, and I thought, shoot, I'm always sitting at my kitchen table,
Right.
And then I don't get many steps, yet I'll talk to you on the phone, or
Right.
Yeah.
David.
Right.
And so now I have a new thing that I walk around if I can walk outside, I walk outside. And then every time I talk to you,
Yeah.
I'm sitting at my kitchen table, and then
And
I
I'm
say,
walking
Dana's
Jagger
walking.
around.
Dana, are you walking? You go, yeah, I'm walking. And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell? I'm just sitting here and you're walking.
Yep.
Right.
And then I
Get up and go
Usually it's
walk.
at the end of the
Yeah.
conversation, so I'm sorry I didn't do it sooner.
Yeah.
Or you're on the treadmill and I'm sitting in my kitchen chair. So now my new thing is that I walk, and I just walk around my house. I walk
Yeah.
around the house, up the stairs, down the stairs, around each room.
Absolutely.
If it's at night
Right.
or whatever, or if it's raining out, because last week it rained a lot. I got so many steps every day.
You'll be
That's
surprised.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Walking.
And talking.
And talking.
Greg won't take a business call. I've never seen him sit and
Nope,
talk unless
that's
he
great.
has to be like looking
Well,
at spreadsheets.
I always did.
Right.
He walks and he'll go, Dane, I got to make a call. Jagger, let's go. And then he goes on his business
And he's
call
walking.
and he's walking the dog on the
See,
call.
I never did that. I sat in my chair.
Right. And most people
and
do.
talked.
Right.
And then, an hour goes by and
Yeah.
I've just been sitting there.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one thing.
And this is like, these are conscious things where it's like, if you can then, or like turn these into habits.
100%.
I'm trying. Now I've been doing it. So
Yeah.
I just
Right. And
I try to think of it and do it.
do it. And I think it'll be good for our listeners to say, hey, when they're talking to their girlfriends or who's significant, anyone, to say, hey, if we're sitting down, let's get up and walk around while we have this conversation on the
I
phone.
love
Just have
that.
to
Yeah.
remember to do it.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
the hard
I forget to get up.
Because we're so used to
And
sitting.
then all of a sudden, it hits me. It's like, ooh, I need to get up and walk.
And you know what? Here's where I started realizing that it was such an easy thing in your daily life. So years ago, I bought Fitbits for all the kids.
Yeah.
And I wanted them to really get into getting steps. So everybody got a Fitbit Garmin, and we had a step challenge. And the kids were young, and they were very competitive about it because I made a
Yes.
big prize. It was like money or something that they
Right.
wanted. And I said, we're going to do the whole week, and everybody whoever gets the most steps, and every day we're going to put our watches together at the same time.
Right.
Whoever has it, and we're going to write it down. So it was so funny because when you see what happens with kids and even their steps,
Yes.
so it'll be like, I'll say, can somebody give me my hairbrush? I'll get it. And they're running up the stairs, and I'm like, it's all because they just wanted more
More
reasons to
free
get
steps.
steps. And
Exactly.
I was like, and then, it didn't
Oh, that's
matter.
what I do with Liz, my housekeeper.
Yeah.
Like if we need something, I say, I'll get it. She goes, no, I'll get it. I go, no, you're not. I'm getting it because I want
But Liz wants her steps too.
Everybody wants their steps. When you start to
I want to go.
realize,
At night, like last night, Rocky wanted a sandwich, and we were in bed, and I said, "Oh, no problem, I'll get it."
yeah.
I always do. I always go get his food.
It happens with Greg and I. The other night, he's having an allergy attack, and I said, "Do you need an allergy med?" He's like, "No, I'll get it." And I'm like, "No, I'll get it. I'll get it." And he's like, "No, I'll get it." And I'm like, "I know why you want to get it. Like,
I'm low on my steps.
you
I'm
want
going to
your
get
steps." Like it's hilarious
Yeah,
though.
it is. Yes.
All of a sudden, when you start to like realize that like you can get steps,
Yes.
and you can change but you got to be conscious about it.
Right.
And I really do think a lot about like and that's not just for activity, it's for nutrition.
100%.
Being really conscious every time you go
Yes.
to eat or don't eat, or like if I dodge a bullet, like I want to take a lick of the something or the peanut butter.
All right, I have a
Right,
story
you know?
about that too.
Oh, go. Okay.
No, this is something else. Maria knows what I'm going to say because this just happened.
Okay.
All right, so we all know, what we're supposed to be doing to
For the
lose
most
weight
part,
and
right.
all that from. But Maria and I were talking about how every now and then something is said to you that resonates.
Deeply.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you just don't forget it. It makes you make a change.
Sure.
So I told her how there's somebody online, I don't even know who it was, somebody's post.
Right.
I saw it, it was a girl, and she was saying, the different reasons why you're not being successful with your weight loss. And so one of her examples was she takes a quarter cup and she says, like maybe when you go through your pantry or into your kitchen, she said, and you just take a little handful, and then she drops it into the container. It was a quarter cup measuring thing. She said, oh, and you just take a little handful of almonds, and it's 160 calories.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
no big deal. And I was like,
Like a little
oh,
snack.
here,
A little
God.
pistachio.
Wait, so
Yeah.
I have a catering kitchen and a regular kitchen, and I have a pantry. So you walk through, and I have little containers. You push the top, And yeah, that's what I do. I walk through, I see the almonds, I just take a few like it's no big deal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Holy cow, why do I never lose
And if
weight?
you do
I'm
that,
working out. I'm
Several times a day.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say 2-3 times a day. All of a sudden, you've gone to maybe it could be up to 500 extra calories a
100.
year.
Wait, and there's
those
your-
easy ones just to
Yes.
pop.
There's my deficit right there.
Exactly.
I just ate
You
it
just
in
ate your
almonds.
deficit, 100%.
Or pistachios
Yeah.
in our case.
Yeah.
Or you're making
So-
your kids a peanut butter jelly sandwich.
so it's actually
and you're
pistachios.
licking the spoon or the
Yep.
whatever, and now you've made a couple sandwiches, and you lick the spoon a handful of times of peanut butter. Now
Yep.
you've just eaten
Yes.
2-3 extra.
All right, I do that too.
Okay.
So anyway, it was so funny. So I told Maria, what happened, and she listened. Yes. So then she said to me, Mick, would you believe I went home and threw away my
I
pistachios?
threw all my pistachios away.
Oh
I
my
was like,
God.
I'm going in quiet solidarity with Mick because
That's so
after
funny.
she said it, and I mean, as
It's true.
a nutritionist, I'm always telling my clients
Yes.
this, you need to be careful. But I mean, I'm guilty of it too.
Yeah.
Now, I'm extremely highly active, so my body can clearly metabolize them. However, it's still overeating
Yeah.
to some
It's a
degree.
lot
And
of
it
calories.
creates
It's
a
a-
subconscious habit.
Yes.
And I said, you know what? I don't need to be doing that. That is not the appropriate way to eat pistachios.
Right.
So I'm
Yeah.
done. I can't handle them.
Well, these calorically dense foods,
Yes.
and they're crunchy and they're satisfying
And
they're
salty and good- yes,
and
the
they're
salty.
easy and
Yes.
it's like, and then you can just like pop them and you do it. It's so mindless.
It's mindless, and because you're busy,
Yeah.
and it's easy, it's easier to just grab your hand and toss something back and say, I ate something.
Yeah.
And then if you have very minimal knowledge of nutrition, you will say, well, I had some nuts and seeds, which has protein in it, so I did okay.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who really think that, and I'm like, there's actually very little protein.
those
in
are
it.
fats.
Unless you're
Yeah,
a
those are
vegetarian,
fats.
right? And that
You
still
know
doesn't
what?
help you.
You look at him like a Hershey kiss. It's like,
Yes.
oh, it's just a tiny little
Yes.
They look so
Yes, they look so innocent,
Yeah,
right?
healthy. Wait, and you think, look at the size of your body. Look at this little tiny nuts.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
how could that be a problem?
Yeah. And they are healthy. They are healthy
No,
to a
and-
certain
yes.
extent. Right? Like,
Of course. No,
everything that's
everything-
good could be bad.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like if you
yeah.
say they're going to help, but it's like, okay, yeah, but maybe if you work them in that you're eating 15
Right.
almonds as your fat with
Right,
your,
with your meal, right,
Right.
exactly. Instead of just 15 here, 15 there.
Right.
Oh, before bed, another 15.
because that's the thing. So many
Yeah.
things are healthy and good for you, but if you're doing them in excess,
Mm-hmm.
I mean that happened to me for so many years where I was like, but I'm eating healthy, but I'm eating
Yes.
healthy. It's like, yeah, but you're eating
too much of it.
That's
Yeah.
me with almond butter.
Yeah.
So what I do is I weigh it out the way Maria taught me. I put
Yes.
the container on the
On the
scale.
scale.
Yeah.
And I weigh it out. I take out so it's negative. And then I take my knife and I scoop out some more and eat it. After
So it's a
I've-
double negative.
After I've weighed it,
Yeah, I do that.
as if that part doesn't count.
I do that. Like once I weigh out my beef, like my lean beef.
Oh, yeah, then
while
I
it's
do another scoop.
warming up. I'm like, and
I eat
it. I do
it's
that.
Like, oh crap! So that was really like 6 ounces.
See, this is why we're friends, because
we can admit that, like, okay,
you have to
I tell her what I do.
Yeah, and I'm always real about what I do too. I don't
Yeah.
try to
All
make
right,
it.
here's
'cause I'm
another
not
thing I do.
perfect.
This is like true
If I
confession.
was
What
perfect,
the
I'd
hell
be
is
sitting
shit
here like
talk?
shredded. Are you kidding me?
Wait.
If I was I'm sticking perfectly my plan. It's
Here's
like,
the other
okay,
thing I
yeah.
do. So, of course, I have the scale that monitors your weight and
Right.
sends it off to your
My
app
app,
and
yeah.
whoever
Yeah.
else is on it. So Maria gets my data.
That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it is. It is really.
Yeah.
But don't worry. Don't worry. I have a way around it. So
Sneaky scale.
A sneaky scale.
in my bathroom, I have a little cabinet, and in it, I have an extra scale.
Oh my God! So she'll get on her sneaky scale.
I have to first, before I can let it go to Maria, I check
the sneaky
the
scale.
sneaky scale. I call it the secret scale.
Secret scale. I like sneaky scale.
I get on the secret
Sneaky.
scale and see what I weigh. If the weight is okay, then I'll get on the other scale and
Oh
let it go to
my
Maria.
God.
If the weight is too high, we skip that day.
She skips that day.
Damn, mom.
What's funny is I know she does this, so when I don't see it, I know what's happening.
Yeah.
But yet she still does it like it's a mystery.
I do it. I don't want her to see what I did over the weekend.
Oh my God.
If we're missing a Monday, Tuesday, wait, I know
Right.
there was an out eat on
There
the
was a
weekend.
sneaky scale. Yeah. Oh my God, you're too much. What?
Why should I suffer twice?
I love it though. I'm just like, oh no.
Well, Maria has the thing. I'll let you all know what Maria does. So if Maria weighs herself and doesn't like what the scale says, she kicks it around on her tile floor to see if she can find a better location where the number will change.
Oh my God.
So she said to me, "Don't you move your scale around if you don't like the number?" I go, "No, I don't do
No, I
that."
never even thought of that.
Well, because
What the-
the way that scales work, sometimes
Oh, yeah,
how
blame
cold,
it on the scale.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
how cold or how warm your tile is can
Oh, that's
affect the
bullshit.
It's not actually, depending on the type of scale. We have these the new bioelectric impedance
Okay.
scales. So it's not the old school scales where it was just
So I would get a heated floor or something.
right.
Or what is-
So sometimes it's
So
a
she
little
has heat
different,
pockets
so.
in her
Yeah.
floor. So she
Well, if
wants
I
to
had my
find
heat-
one.
her way
If I had my heated floors on, actually, no, it makes it more
Oh,
sometimes.
more.
So
Oh, shit.
I try to kick it to the coolest.
Oh my God.
Oh, God.
It's still ridiculous on the
I
surface.
have
It's
this
ridiculous.
picture of you kicking your scale around the bathroom.
Oh my God. That is so funny.
So I have
But
since
no, I don't.
put my
I don't
scale
have that
away.
weird habit.
I don't weigh very often anymore, though. I put the scale
I've
away.
been off the scale for like quite a few days because I haven't been feeling it, and I won't because it's like I don't mentally want to get
Right.
screwed up. But then if I'm feeling if I'm feeling really
Oh,
good
same
and I
with
get
me.
on it and I'm all excited and then
and then the number.
the number isn't what I want to see.
Oh, I go into a depression.
Yeah, and here's and
So
all-
ridiculous. I know it
all
doesn't
of us
mean
do-
anything.
All of us do, and what's sad is that the reality is that number is so. It can mean a multitude of things.
I can wake up and I'm heavy.
Yes.
And then by the time that I go to the bathroom, I walk Jagger around the block.
You're
I do
2
some
3 pounds
cardio,
lighter.
and I've peed 7 times because I had
Right.
my coffee. I'm like down 4 pounds.
Exactly.
And then I'm like, oh, okay, never mind. I'm like, I'm happy again.
I'm good.
Oh yeah, I'm the same
But
way.
on the walk, you were miserable.
Oh, the whole morning I was so pissed off, and then once I do all my things and I get back on, I'm like, oh yes,
Yes.
she's back.
Which
and I'm
is-
like,
No, I'm the same way, Dana. So last week we took class at Just Lift.
yeah.
So with the night before, they said it was a 90-minute class instead
They
of
switched it
6 to
on
6.
us.
Yeah. So,
So Dana and I stuck it out.
were
We
like,
did our
what the
90-minute
hell?
class.
Yeah.
It was killer.
It was killer
Okay,
because there was
so-
no
no
chit chatting. No, this was 90
This was
minutes
90
of
minutes.
and when I say like each section was like 18
Oh,
minutes.
God,
of
it was hard.
I was dying.
A lot of
I was
legs.
like, oh my God.
it swole her up.
My legs were so swollen.
Yeah, mine too.
My weight went up to a new high that I haven't seen since I gave birth to you.
Oh my God.
Wait,
postpartum
I was
weight.
talk about depression. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I knew because I was swollen too. My hamstrings,
but
she
she-
couldn't even
I
touch them. We did so many hamstrings. Every freaking station we're deadlifting. I'm like, dude.
Dana, I
cannot.
never had my
Single
weight
leg,
show
double
that
leg,
on a scale.
Split spot. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, my hamstrings are only so big that I can't. How many ways can I tear them up? It was
Yeah,
a
well,
lot.
overboard.
So
yeah.
what was it, a few days later?
A few days
it was
later
down like
that
4 pounds.
yeah.
I was like,
I told
Oh my
her, I said,
God,
Mom,
I couldn't believe
your
it.
legs
Yeah, I
are
told her it's the
swollen.
water weight.
I said,
Yeah.
they're going to flush.
Yes.
You're going to be fine.
You'll
It
be
happens to me
fine.
all the time.
Yeah,
where
but I'm
I
not used to
swell
that.
up. And because that's some training. When you do that type of shit and you shock the shit out of your body, your
was
body
rough.
swells.
She was so swollen.
So swollen.
I felt so bad. I was like, oh.
But I told her, I was like, Mom, you didn't eat like that.
That's what Maria tries to
Yeah,
tell me.
I always
You
tell
didn't
her,
eat
I'm
all
like,
that.
you didn't eat that.
And Mom,
so
you
I
are
know, but if
like
you see
a
that
real-
number, you believe
But
it.
that's how
It's like-
that's where the fitness culture has messed us up as
Yes,
women, right? The
yes.
introduction of the scale. I mean, it has its place, but really, it's very harmful.
It is.
Because we don't. Without enough education, no one gave us. They just gave us a scale and said, "This is what you weigh." No one said that weight could be, differentiate by cold or hot, or how much water you drink, or lack thereof water, or how much food you
The
ate.
scale is all it's telling you. The thing that really hit home for me with the scale was like, okay, a pound of bricks weighs the same as a pound of
yes,
feathers,
yes,
or
yes,
think of something
yes.
like cotton balls,
Right.
mushy and blobbly, or do you want to be
Firm and yeah.
like a brick?
Yeah.
But it's still a pound.
It's still a pound, right? 100%.
So it's like, so just because, and then the other thing that has always like rung a little different to me, I could be sitting with a girl and she's like, oh, I weigh 135. And I'm like, okay, I weigh 135. Well, we don't look like the same 135.
know.
You know what I mean? I'm like, she doesn't, like, she could not lift weights, totally, whatever.
Totally
and
different,
my
yeah.
physique, and I'm thinking, like, okay, like, my physique has a lot of muscle on it.
Yes.
And, you know, so it's like,
Very different looks.
it's very different looks. And, oh, wow, so we both weigh the same, big deal.
Right. So big. Exactly.
What does that even mean?
What does it even mean?
And then I always think, well, in fitness competitions, they don't give a
They
crap
don't weigh us.
what you weigh.
They don't weigh us.
It's how
We're not-
you look. It's what,
Right.
and then sometimes it's shocking to hear what some of the most
Yeah.
shredded people weigh, and you're like, damn, she weighs that much.
Yeah.
And
You
it's
know
like,
what's so crazy? We all know that.
We know that.
Yeah, we
Yet
know
we
this.
still
Yeah.
let that stupid number affect our head.
Yeah, because it's been
Even though we
ingrained.
know
It's
it.
been
Like-
ingrained into us.
Like, Mom, if right now you got down to, like, say you were like 12% body fat, you had lots of muscle, but the scale said 120.
I'd probably have a heart attack.
You die.
She
yet
would
you
die,
look
but
the
she would look
best
phenomenal.
You ever
Right.
look. If you were,
Yes.
if you were going to compete and you were like, okay, we're going to put some muscle,
Yeah.
we're going to shred the body fat. You're looking amazing,
This
and yet
is-
the scale says 120.
this is
Yet,
factual.
okay, at 101, you were skinny, you know, skinnier fat maybe, or had less muscle,
Right.
and didn't have the calves and the abs.
Well, I think
yet it's like just because it's not, it like
She's
messes
already
us
been
up.
there when we first started. Like, I gave her way more food to eat, and it was
Yeah.
very hard for her to grasp. But you did well with it. But it was definitely making her weight stay at that level. But you look good and firm, and
It's
but I
body
think that
recomp.
but that number, you're very addicted
Oh,
to the
even
number.
when yes,
Yep.
I'm even addicted to the idea of a lot of calories.
Right.
I think, oh my God.
Like,
Yeah.
it's gonna make
It's
me
been
fat.
hard
She's had
for
me up
her.
at 1,600 calories.
Yeah.
It's been hard for
And
her. Yeah.
I think,
And think when you had the 1,600, you were
yeah.
still 113 back
I
then.
know, but I understand the whole thing. It's just, yeah, it's so.
It's the way that we were ingrained, and I
Yeah.
think from like your generation to my generation, and even on the cusp of yours,
Yeah.
you know, we had magazines, and everything was about that number, the number. You know, we'd look at the women in the magazines, the Oxygen, and we're like, okay, she looks like this at this number.
Yeah,
I
and
gotta
they
get
put their weight.
Yeah, they used to put their weight.
and
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, like she looks amazing, and she weighs what I
Right.
weigh, but I'm like, I don't look like that.
I don't- right,
Because it's like, it's like,
exactly.
well, what does it even freaking mean?
Exactly. So where do I need to go to get
Monica Brandt always was like
130, 140, yeah.
140.
Yes,
like,
always.
and they'd say on season, off season.
Yes.
So, and I'd be like, okay, well, I'm not 140. I don't look like Monica, like, you know, back then. So it was like, what the hell?
so true.
Yeah.
Even when I finally made 145 after losing all that weight, I still didn't look like her. I was like, this is not
But
it.
isn't that funny that people put like when they're like, oh, what's your goal weight?
Yes.
How does anyone even
How
know
know
what their goal weight? It's like, how do you even know? Because you don't even know if you how much
Right.
lean tissue you want to put on, how much
Yeah,
body
that's
fat, and then
stupid.
where you're going to land. What do you mean? What's
Yeah.
your goal weight?
Yeah.
I mean, I give a range, and I always say like, this is my sweet spot.
Right.
Like I'm like
For
you
my
know what?
clothes to fit.
Anywhere between these, this is my sweet spot.
No, that's actually what I want. I want my clothes
supposed to fit better.
Yeah,
because
that's a
I
difference.
have created a wardrobe over all the years, and I want my clothes to fit.
Yeah.
Right.
And my clothes are too tight.
That's what I think we have to be more concerned with is getting into the clothes we want to wear.
Yeah.
Versus the number itself.
versus the scale, because
Yeah.
there have been times where my clothes fit great and the scale might be up, but I'm just firmer and tighter.
Yes.
And so I'll be like, this is so weird. Like my weight's up, but everybody keeps saying I look great and I look thin, but
I know.
or whatever, like look like lean, but like the scale's up, so this makes no sense. But like, yes, it does. Like I'm tighter. I've got more
It's
muscle.
exactly. It's the way we wanted it to be. Yet we're still not happy with it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's sad that women like that. You know, it's a lot of women. I mean, because for Greg, he fluctuates up and down,
Men
but he
don't-
doesn't
yeah,
let
they
it.
don't
His,
let it-
his clothes
yeah.
still always
Don't talk about a
fit.
guy. They're different.
Yeah, men are so different. They're not attached to it the way that we
No.
are.
But besides
And I-
that, they get results so much easier.
And they don't get
They
mentally
do.
all like attached to a
they
number.
don't. And I think because no matter what, I think for men, the majority, they know they'll be accepted in society no matter the weight, really, right?
They're not. Their builds aren't critiqued the way
For,
ours
yeah,
are.
for us, everything relies on our weight and our look, right? Like the man will have maybe sometimes the type of job we can get or hold. You know, will you be a face of a company or in the background because of the way you look or your weight? So I mean, there's so much more pressure on us, and I think that's why we struggle more than men.
Yeah,
and just don't have that. You know, they can be heavy and get like a gorgeous woman.
Yeah.
You know, you never see a gorgeous, a gorgeous man with a woman that's like.
Yeah, that's
you don't ever see it. It's very rare.
Yeah.
You rarely see it. So.
And when you think about it, it's like the other day I was taking Jagger for a walk in the ranches where the farms are, and there was a farm of peacocks And the men were the male peacock is the one with the fabulous
the
tail,
plume, yeah.
the big,
Well, that's to attract
And then but it's funny
but that's
because
in nature. That's all the birds and everything.
Yeah.
But yet for humans, it's flipped
it's
where we're
reverse.
doing all the,
the extra
the stuff and all the extras and
But that's interesting that in nature.
It's in reverse. It is.
for humans, like men don't have to totally do all the fluffing and floofing that we do.
Nope.
Fluffing and floofing.
That's right. Well, I think of it where it's like doing the hair and the nails and all the extras to look like a peacocking around, parading around.
Not to jump around too much, but we are going to jump around.
Yeah, that's fine.
You originally were talking about finding time.
Yeah.
I know people have heard this over and over. There's only so many options in a day.
Yes.
You're either going to, if you want to work out, you're either going to do it in the morning. You're going to do it on your lunch hour.
Or at night.
you're going to do it at night, whether you're tired or you're not. Maria and I have talked about it.
Right.
A lot of times, you can be tired where you physically cannot
Yes,
work out.
yes,
I've
that
had
is a real thing.
Where I have no energy left. Forget it. I can't work out if my life depended on it.
Right.
And there are other times, I'm tired. And I am tired. But then I do make myself go to the gym or up to my
A lot of times those end up being the best
workouts.
and
True story.
you get energy and you
Yes.
work out and you're happy that you did it.
Yes.
So I don't know which tired you are.
I think most people are the latter, where they're just mentally tired and they don't realize that they just need to push over that little bit of a mental hurdle and get to the workout and get it done.
But also, Maria, the workout doesn't have to be. I know you're a nurse or something where you just really don't have the time.
Right. It doesn't have to be so intricate.
No. If you were doing some things, and then you were watching, what you're eating, that you're eating a healthier diet.
It's really the nutrition.
You can make a difference in yourself.
You really can. I mean, I'm actually have scheduled to post today. Like I put together these just little 30-minute workouts that you can do at home that are basic body weight things. No, just get it done, because everyone does have at least 30 minutes. And I know this because of the amount. I've done some research on how many hours per week we spend on social media per person.
Oh yeah. I think social media, watching Netflix.
Yes.
I used to have a rule for myself. Now, this is years ago when there was no Netflix or anything. It was actually when I was still using a DVD player. Right. It was The Sopranos. I used to buy all the box sets or whatever. So when I was competing in my first show, and then the amount of cardio was
crazy.
Disgusting. I mean, I would think I was
2 hours,
3 hours, 2 hours by the end. I had a rule for myself that I could only watch an episode when I was doing my cardio.
Right.
Because I mentally I was like, God, I can't do another whatever. And the other thing, so now these days, I would never do that in a billion years with that kind of cardio. But I still, I get tired. There are mornings like today. I haven't done anything today.
Right.
I went from the kids to Kelly to here.
Exactly.
So yet it'll say tonight, say I'm tired by the end of the day, which probably will be. Sometimes I will just put on a show and I have still my recumbent bike or my whatever. And I'll say, you know what? I don't have to go ham. I don't even have to do a Peloton workout.
Right.
I am just going to put on a show and I'm going to put a little bit of resistance and I'm going to pedal those wheels and just keep my body moving for 30 minutes.
Exactly.
Just to kind of do a little something.
Something better than nothing.
Yes.
Exactly. And if everyone just they can scroll and ride a bike, they can scroll and walk.
Yep.
There's opportunities to do it.
I got a lot of that during the winter. So when I do my Instagram stories or my TikToks, people see that I'm in Florida and then they're all over the country.
Right.
And they'll say, well, I'm in really cold weather and a gym is an hour from me and what should I be doing? And I get that a lot.
Yes.
And yet I think to myself, I'm like, okay, well, I did live in New Jersey for 27 years of my life. And I did get in really good shape in New Jersey where we had winters.
Yeah.
And, if you can't, I always tell people, if you can afford to get a used piece of equipment,
100%.
people are always selling used pieces of equipment.
100%.
Go on Facebook marketplace.
Yes.
Somebody's getting a treadmill they were hanging their clothes on. Someone's getting a
Elliptical
bike that they
bike,
haven't
you name
used in
it.
100
Yes.
years. If you can get that and put it in your living room, I used to put a cardio in my living room. I didn't
Yes.
even care. Like I'm
Yes.
like, if you're to the point where you're like, look, I just need to do something through the winter. Like it might not be the most beautiful decor, but like if you really want it and
If
you're
you care
struggling
about
and you can't get to the
yourself,
gym,
you'll do it.
Because it is hard to just like, what do you march in place? And
Right.
you're like-
Yeah.
and if you're
Watching my TV.
and if you're not into like the jazzercise or
Right.
like whatever, fine. But I would say like get something that you want to do. I'll never forget though, and my aunt and I laugh about this all the time. This is Aunt Mel. Years ago, she wanted to get something for her house because she didn't want to join a gym. This is like many years ago. She wanted to lose some weight, and she
Right.
was like, you know, what piece of equipment should I get? She asked me, and I was like, all right, well, do you like to ride bikes? And she was like, no. And I'm like, okay, would you want to do the treadmill? You could do like an incline walk. And she's like, no, I don't think I really just want to walk on a treadmill. And I was like, okay, do you want to do an elliptical? And she's like,
No, she didn't want to do any of that.
the two of us were laughing so hard because I was like, I'm out of options.
That's right. That's all
We
the
went through
equipment.
everything. And she was like, gosh, Dane, like, this is harder than I thought. I was like, well, the first step
Right.
is figuring out what we like. And
Right.
but, you know, sometimes you just have to, like, you know,
You're going to have to
you
make a
got to
decision.
figure it out.
Right.
You got to make a decision, and you have to figure out something that you want to always do. I feel like if you get a stepper, it's like you're always stepping.
Yes.
You're always stepping.
I say get a walking board.
Yeah.
Actually, if you can't afford a treadmill, walking boards are on Amazon for dirt cheap, under $100.
Yeah.
And you can literally just put them on 2.5, 3.0 and just walk and watch TV.
Yeah, or put it under
Yeah,
your desk
put it in
and
your
walk. I
desk and
see that a
walk.
lot, like a
Yes.
walking pad.
Right.
So people are doing that.
Yes, that's
and
become
that's
huge
great.
with my clients. Even at their workplaces, they've gotten walking pads.
Now the other thing is what's great about a walking pad or a treadmill, and I've done this before. Like when the weather gets too cold in Florida, like yeah, I'll still walk the dog, but I'm not doing my long
Your
walks.
long
I just
walks.
don't. I'm like, I don't want to be cold out there.
Right.
To get my steps during the day, I do have treadmill at my house. I will do like 10 minutes. I'll jump on when I
Yes.
can.
That is my secret sauce to clients who work. I'm like, you have 10-minute breaks. Several of them are 15
get on
minutes.
it.
Just get on your walking pad if you work from home or if you work where it's warm outside and you can go out and take a walk or walk around your building.
Yep.
10 minutes is a great way to get an hour of cardio in a day without you even realizing
Yeah.
it.
See, so there is stuff you can
That
do.
these
Yeah,
are just
totally.
little. These are just
Yeah,
little
little
tricks,
things.
little
Yes.
things. Also,
you
like
have to want it. That's what
But
it comes
that's it.
down
You gotta
to.
want it.
You have to want it. You know darn well.
But
it's like if
sometimes-
somebody's getting married, then they can get in shape.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
It's like
It's true.
But you've got to have the tools in your toolbox. And that's my point, because a lot of people aren't
Yes.
thinking this. So like my tools in my toolbox, yesterday, I was like, I got to do cardio. I haven't done cardio in days. Let me do it. And then I get on the machine and I kind of like, I start walking and I'm like, I'm not really feeling this.
Feeling it.
And then I was like, you know what? Let me put my playlist on. Like I made this like, I call it
Yes.
like goat beats, like the greatest of all time. And like
right.
those are the beats that like, you know, it's like
Pump
maybe
you up and
some
make
like
you
Janet
wanna-
Jackson
yes.
or some whatever.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, all right. And then I'll move into the beat. But it's like, that's like a tool.
Right.
Because I was on and I was like, oh my God, this really sucks. Like, how am I to get there? And I'm
Yeah.
looking and it's like 1 minute down. And like I look down and I'm like 1 minute 30 down.
I know, yeah. You just keep looking at the time
I'm
like, oh my gosh,
and
I
like
feel
really,
like
I have 100 other things I want to be doing. I need to be doing. My
Right.
list is long, but like I think if I can just do 30 minutes and like so, I put the playlist on, or like I said, or you put a show on. If you're obsessed
Yes,
with a
with a
Netflix show,
watching a show has been great.
It makes it easier by far.
watching a series, getting into so like I was big into
Yeah.
Dexter, and like
Yeah.
I couldn't wait to do cardio because I was like, good, I only will watch Dexter,
Dexter went right.
you know, and like those are little tricks to trick yourself into, because I'll sometimes be sitting. So say I turn on Dexter and I'm sitting on my couch and I'm thinking, I'm just sitting here watching a show,
Right,
Ew.
just literally sitting. You're
Like literally
yeah.
sitting.
Yes. Who's
Welcome
watching
to my
who?
world.
Oh my God. I am my mom. Oh my God.
You do turn into your mother.
You do. It
I'm
happens.
turning into my sedentary mother.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy, and I think it's like incumbent upon us now as moms, and we have children and grandchildren, and I'm very big on enforcing this with my grandchildren, that you have to prioritize yourself.
Yes.
I don't think that when we're growing up, I don't think we're really truly taught that at its core. Like really, especially for our girls, like really take care of yourself.
Yeah.
You got to put yourself first.
Yep.
And I think that we need to start doing a little bit more education with our children about that, because we are so disconnected from taking care of ourselves. We will say on our to-do list everything else, and we will be at the bottom, which is crazy because none of the things can really get done without us.
Okay,
Yes.
so that goes back to, like you said, your to-do list. You know, it's scheduling in
Yes,
your workout.
Your work, yeah.
And look, I'm, up there in age, but Dana, my whole life I've used a trainer.
Yeah.
Or I at least get myself to the gym.
Yeah.
Right.
And I have always scheduled it. Every day I have a time, and my time changes every day.
Right.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
But it's
Yeah, but
still
I've
part
always
of
had a
your
time. And
schedule.
when I used to show up at the company and I worked, it was 12 o'clock that I worked out. And
For the lunchtime. Yeah.
yeah, I just had it in that's what I did. And I didn't let anything get in my way. I used to say I'd schedule my workout like I scheduled my nail appointment.
that's right.
And I am not missing it.
That's it, because we don't miss our nails. We don't miss our hair or lashes. We will make appointments for those 2-3 weeks in advance. We make sure we make it.
I make sure
but we
I
won't
show
up
up
for ourselves, and it's
That's
sad.
why you have to schedule it in.
Yeah, we've been conditioned to
Don't
not
let
show up for
something
ourselves.
else.
Yeah, come in the way
boot
of
it
that.
out.
Right,
No.
right, because you're important, and I think that we really need to start pushing that more on our children and grandchildren, because I think that's where the disconnect is. We just don't see ourselves as the important piece in the puzzle.
No, and the
Right.
other thing
You
is, if you act like, what's the difference? It's another day so I don't work out today. Okay. And then I don't work out tomorrow. And,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Well, just like the workouts add up, so do the non-workouts add up.
Right.
And eventually you have your big butt and you're out of shape and you feel terrible
Yeah,
about
and-
yourself because you have not been putting together some workouts and you're not doing it for the
Right,
most part.
and it's bigger than that. It's cause and effect, which
Your health and
which you
everything.
show proof of. At your age, you're still hypermobile. You're extremely strong, and you're able to really enjoy life at this stage. And all the missed workouts will create for a horrible lifestyle at your age
Once you
if you
start
don't.
working out, though, you feel guilty when you don't.
Yes,
Yes.
because you do.
Because the results don't
results-
stay. You've got to
No.
keep
You gotta
going.
keep- it's an ongoing process.
It's yeah.
Never ending.
I want people to know I don't like working out.
Yeah, she hates it.
Yeah.
No, Dana loves it. I hate it.
I love it. She hates it.
I love it
Yeah.
if I'm in great shape, but I'm not in the shape that I want to be in, so I don't love it. But
all the grandmas are looking at you now that are like,
No, it's funny because
but
I think
I'm not somebody who can't wait to get to the gym because I love
Right.
it.
and I can't say that I always love it. I think that I've learned to love it, and I've learned because I also know the way that it makes me feel. So
I
it's
love the
like it's like
results.
yes, it's the
it's
addictive.
the drug for me. It's
That's what it is.
Yeah, and for me, it's mental therapy. It's
But I
become
would not
therapeutic now.
Not do it. I've worked out my whole life. I'm not.
But
gonna-
when you make it a habit and a lifestyle, it's like saying like, oh, which days do you brush your teeth?
Exactly.
So what do you mean? It's just what I do.
Right.
Like, what do you mean? What days do
I brush my right?
Like, oh, I schedule in my teeth. It's like, no, every day I wake up and I'm wondering, okay, what, like either it's scheduled, like either I already either have classes scheduled or I know I'm going to go to the gym with Greg or we're going to do something. But every day I know that's
That's something,
happening.
right.
It's not like an option.
right, it's not an
and then there's
option.
scheduled rest days. Like Monday
Right.
is a crazy day for me. And it's a day, like I've already killed it over the weekend. The end
Right.
of the week, I'm always working out. So Mondays are a good day
For you to just
for me
recover.
to just like let my body just chill because I do
Right.
enough,
Right.
And so
Exactly.
Monday's a good day to chill. I try to take like another day. As I'm getting older, I'm feeling the recovery days.
Oh man, you need more of them.
Yes,
Look who's talking.
100%.
don't
I
think you
know.
ever have one.
I've started implementing one recovery day, which is today, Wednesday, because my body is just like,
catches up to you.
Are you doing this again,
Yeah.
ma'am? And on Thursday mornings I run with Lauren, and I'm just like, oof, that running has made
But
me.
do you feel now that you take a full recovery day that your body actually I mean, there are times when I finally will take, because I was like you, I was doing for years.
Right.
For years. There was no days
off, yeah.
It was 5 a.m. cardio hard. It was weight training. I didn't
Maybe an
understand.
evening session.
I thought that was the way to go. And I went
Right.
through life very tired, trying to grind with my kids, doing all the stuff. Then I had coaches that were like, you need to
Yes,
rest.
you really do.
But then when I started to do it, actually felt better after those rest days where I was like, oh my God, I can go harder. I don't feel as beat up.
So what I'm finding, I've been doing this for a little bit now. What I'm finding is my performance for Thursday, Friday, Saturday is a lot better. But I'm more looking at my raw data, like my sleep data, my HRV. That's drastically improved.
Yeah.
So typically I'll go into the red zone by Wednesday, and I would just kind of push through red, and I'd eventually end up green by Sunday, just because I pushed my body over the limit, and it just adapts.
Yeah.
But now when I'm starting to get like orange, and I'll get close to the red by Wednesday. When I rest on Wednesday, I'm back at green on Thursday.
Yeah.
Which is good. So I know from raw data that it does work.
It does, yeah.
It is.
Because I always feel like a rested, repaired body feels better,
can go
functions
harder,
better,
yeah.
and looks better.
Yeah, I can.
It's like a worn out body.
so
Anything look good worn out?
And that's the truth. I think that's why we didn't look as great by the time we made it to stage.
Because you're worn out. Your face looks everything worn out.
It's crazy to me how far I've gotten in the sport, because when I think about how much more cardio I've had to do aside from my counterparts just because of supplementation of me not taking and them taking alone, I was doing sometimes 3 and 4 hours of cardio to get ready for a show.
Yeah.
You look like
I was worn out,
crazy
like
time.
look like shit.
The
like,
makeup doesn't help you by the time you get there. You're just like, get me on.
And I was so tired, and you're not even enjoying
You're not
anything.
enjoying
so
it.
it's like, oh, this whole thing was stupid.
Yes.
But oh my God. Because then you're not. Then you just want it over.
You just want it over. Yeah.
Then you feel like you're being tortured to do something you signed up for.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like
the mentality of just competing alone is nightmarish.
Now, one other thing, and then we're gonna go to episode 2 part. No, you know what? Let's save this this will be a 2 week, because we're gonna go to episode 2. All right. Well, thanks for this first chat. This went fast. Just shooting the shit.
That's right.
I think that this was good. We talked a lot, but this is to be to continue, because I have a few more topics I'd like to chat
listen
with
to this
you
while
ladies.
you're walking.
Yes, I hope this made your walk open. Look down and see how many steps we got you today.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see.
All right, so stay tuned. Back with Mom and Maria on another episode of Until It's Done, a devoted podcast.